Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel for another video between myself and Miles.
At last.
Today, we are concluding, for the time being, our Objects series.
We'll do this again in 5 years' time.
Yeah, exactly. The revised and updated edition. So if you don't know, Doctor Who magazine last year did their big thing. It felt like a lifetime ago now. But for the 6th anniversary, they went through like one object from each year, each of the 60 years that Doctor Who has been around for. It's been our spin on this series. We've been looking at objects from each year that we've been a fan, since around 2007, 2008, up until the present day. So do go and check all the other videos out if you haven't already. We've had all sorts of stuff, books, magazines, figures, soundtracks.
Yep.
Comics, Big Finish.
What's the weirdest one that we had? Probably like, do we have a ticket?
Had like programs and
programs.
Yeah, that kind of stuff,
all
haven't we? Yeah, all that kind of niche, but not as niche as the Doctor Who magazines then.
Yeah.
So today...
I had a jar of air that I breathed in 2008.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. God, there we are. Today then, what? 2020.
To
2021, 2022, 2023,
Yeah.
and then 2024 might as well. Just as well.
Little bonus for you.
For the year so far.
Yeah.
So I'll invite you to go first then. 2020.
Okay.
Let's go. Yeah.
Did something happen in 2020? Was there something that
I don't know. I can't.
I don't know. It
remember.
was all a bit of a blur, to be honest.
No.
In obviously March, we had something called a lockdown. I'm sure a lot of you can remember.
Yeah.
I think Doctor Who merch became very special in that time because we were stuck at home. We had to, make up what we could of all that sort of stuff. And now this item, I don't know. I can't remember what exact. You might know better than me what exact time. You probably will. You probably should know because you've got something coming out that you'll probably need to know.
Okay. Yes.
Anyway,
yes.
This came out around that time. I hope it did. I'm suddenly starting to doubt myself. But I remember being sent this item by a certain company and putting together a very special review of it. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is the Companions of the Fourth Doctor collector's figure set from B&M. Do you remember what exact time this came out in 2020? It was 2020.
It was 2020, yeah. It was the first drop of B&M sets that year. And I remember there were leaks beforehand, as there usually are nowadays.
Yeah.
Where people had kind of got photos of these off eBay or from China or somewhere, and I remember the reactions to what we were getting, like, oh my god, like it's Captain Yates and Sergeant Benson, oh my god, it's all these
Romana,
companions,
it's Sarah Jane,
the Jodie ones as well, who we sort of already knew about. The History of the Daleks sets, the first in that line.
Was that the first time?
Yes, it was a real bump away. I think that year was probably the most sets we've had, I guess. It felt like it.
Because the year before we'd had the whole Androzani TARDIS
that's
and
when it
Harry
started
Sullivan
to explode a bit in terms of new stuff, hadn't it? And
but when this hit, I think this was a real kind of step up, and we were all like, okay, wow.
And like you say, we were all kind of desperate to go out of the house and go to them and find our sets.
I think so,
And even later that year as well, just to give a shout out to, I mean, we had stuff like the Autumn sets, which were kind of revised versions of these companions and etc. And the unit. Mike Yates, not Mike Yates with his...
Oh, sorry, definitely wasn't
definitely
Mike Yates. No.
And the Tyler Zygon's Fourth Doctor and, whoever that is.
I think it was the actor who played the Meep, actually, in figure form.
Meep. There we go. So
if you pressed your Fourth Doctor Tyler Zygon's figure on the back, he would say Meep. Yeah.
And of course, after that, as well, the Christmas sets. I loved that year when we got the December. It was like had a nice kind of gold Ace and Dalek, Coal Hill School.
Of course.
And a nice sort of silvery.
Now that could very easily have been my choice.
The Davros set, that was the one that I got sent that year. I think it's the only thing they've ever sent me as a PR thing. But
did you get sent that year?
They did like a Christmas thing.
Of course, when it was like a surprise.
Like excess stock.
And we did a giveaway of the Zygon set, didn't we?
Yeah,
yes, we did.
It was a lucky dip. You couldn't ask for anything. There we go.
But I remember being sent this. This was the first thing I got sent by character. I was really proud of the video I did of them as well. I tried to make it like a kind of Al-Jawar kind of drop video.
Did you go to a pub and get all sweaty?
There was that as well.
Well, I suppose you couldn't
authenticity.
do that in time.
No, I just had to make my own pub at home.
Yeah.
And I just remember absolutely loving all of this. The Romana one was a bit more of a kind of it was still nice to have, but it was kind of like the real players were these two here.
Yeah.
And especially Sarah Jane, which is so weird. We'd already had so many Sarah Janes before, but this one kind of really did it. Yeah, I've just got such great memories of this, and yeah, I even kept the box as well. That was how much I
must be good.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my pick for 2020. Some character options figures, and I don't even know if we had the Crash set that we both picked.
In terms of figures, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if, and then I had the play set as well, which
I did the 12th Doctors, I think, in 2017.
You did, yes. So they have popped up before, but I think this is my main,
Sure.
one of my other ones, as well as the Crash set. So yeah, lots of love for this, and lots of love for the B&M line in general, because
of course, yes.
This is the kind of the stuff we were lucky enough to get, really. Who knows what we're going to get next, really. Exciting.
Who knows?
Who bloody knows?
Stay tuned.
So, you, sir, 2020.
Well, yeah, I've kind of gone along a similar sort of theme, but winding the clock a little bit further back than that, right to before the pandemic.
Before the pandemic.
I actually, it's a strange little story. It doesn't happen very often, but I got an invite to the escape room with the Dalek. The Dalek,
yes.
Yeah, this is kind of
the Dalek Awakens.
Was Dalek Awakens. It's a bit of a red herring, this, because it's not actually the thing I'm talking about.
Oh, right, okay.
I don't even know if I got any merch from that, actually. I got a photo with a Dalek and some dudes, and yeah, it was a great little day out. I went all the way down to Birmingham just for the day, so it was a bit crazy, but
whirlwind.
Yeah, there weren't any expenses included or anything. I had to pay for that, but I think the actual thing itself was free in exchange for like a review or a photo or whatever. Nice little day trip, and we got a sense. I suppose I think we had a sense at that point of the way things were going with COVID. So it was nice to have like one final little day out.
Yeah.
And on the way to that trip in Birmingham, I changed trains and went just out of interest, I think. Or maybe I think I reserved it beforehand. I think I'd seen it was there online beforehand, and I reserved it in The Entertainer. It's a weird little story, this. It's bizarre, but it's one of the last things, I suppose, The Entertainer actually stocked, Doctor Who-wise and Doctor Who figure-wise. Yeah. It was one of the first items released in... If I can find it. In 2020, it was the Recon Dalek with the little mutants with it as well. It was first of all, it was nice to have that wave, like Series 11 and 12 figures, first kind of retail wave for a while, and I think they came along in dribs and drabs. So I think you had this guy first, and probably because of COVID as well, or like distribution issues. But he was
a front runner, right? Yeah,
he was a front runner, and the TARDIS as well. I remember going to Manchester to get that, and again, these things are just associated with that time. So there was this lovely little dude, picked him up, went and defeated a Dalek, and then took this one home. And he's a great little figure. I love the little...
That. I mean, it harkens back to the mutant reveal one, right?
It's lovely, isn't it? I love that little feature. It's great.
It's kind of insane that in a time when we weren't... Yeah, exactly. In a time when we weren't getting these brand new sculpts and things predominantly.
Yeah.
To have a brand new figure, like totally brand new, was kind of mad, wasn't it? And even though I'm not a fan of the design, the toy is fantastic. I think that it's just
it's a great
so
toy.
Cool. Yeah, so I got that, I think, the next year when I went to London.
Oh yes, okay. I was still looking around.
So lots of love for that. I mean, good choice. Good choice.
It was an interesting time. Yeah, there's lots of merchandise associated, I think, with that year, and getting those issues of Doctor Who magazine when they were struggling a bit, and they were kind of pushing the things out to you have your Russell and Stephen Moffat interview, and you have your season 14 big bumper pack with the
big
the
sets,
issue and all that kind of stuff, and slightly weirder stuff as well, and things like Time Lord Victorious, I suppose, which also
which kind of felt like a bit of a damp squib almost, because it kind of was anticipating a bit more of a wider release, I suppose, but it had to happen in the confines.
I guess that was the thing, really, wasn't it? Yeah. But no, interesting times. Yeah, lots of fun memories associated with that.
It's funny that you mentioned Time Lord Victorious, though.
I have
to say, because there's a bit of a link to my item from 2021.
Okay.
Is that all right to move on to?
Absolutely.
We're good, because basically,
are we entering a time fracture by any chance?
We might be entering a time fracture, because originally I believe Time Fracture was meant to open in 2020. Am I right?
I think.
And I think maybe it did.
It sounds weird to say it now, but I think it probably was. Yeah.
But it got pushed back because of the pandemic, I assume. And then there was various things which stopped it from opening as well, various floods and all sorts. So I booked my place. I saw it was a birthday present in 2020 to go to Time Fracture the next year. It got cancelled when I was meant to go. I think it had done a few weeks beforehand, but it got cancelled because of more flooding, and we booked hotels, we booked all these trips to London and to go to see Time Fracture, and unfortunately it wasn't going to be open. So the trip we were just going to go down, and that was it really. So my dad was absolutely lovely and just sent an email to them and said, we were planning on coming down here to see this event. Really unfortunate that it's not able to open. Would it be possible to bob by and grab a program maybe, or just to at least that. And I forget his name unfortunately because it was a while ago now.
Sure.
The guy who directed Time Fracture got in touch and said, "Come and have a look at the set. Come and have a look around." And obviously, fan brain, amazing.
Yes.
So we got to go. Me and Izzy got to look around the set. Obviously, all the lights were on because of the flooding. So there was certain areas which were just we weren't able to go on. And I remember because you go through the Time Fracture, don't you? You go downstairs.
Through the Time Fracture, yeah.
And basically you go down a level
Yes.
when you're going through the fracture.
Yes.
And that was the area that had flooded. So there was kind of walkways which had water sort of,
level.
But still, regardless, you're being shown all these things, being shown Gallifrey, walking around.
The unit room as well.
The unit room,
all that stuff.
the Weeping Angel area as well, getting to see the angels. And behind the closed doors, essentially the final act is Gallifrey, isn't it? You're in the Panopticon.
Exactly. Yeah.
The Daleks invade.
Yes.
So hidden in little sort of corners of the set were the Daleks, including the red one with the red top from Time Lord Victorious, which was just insane. And as we finished having our walk around and said our thank yous, we went into the gift shop area, and he said, "And I've put this aside for you," and it was this little program of the event.
Wonderful.
So there you go, the lenticular cover and everything. So the next time that when I went for real, I believe in 2022, I think it was January.
Yes.
I got the poster of that
artwork,
with the Time Lord Victorious Dalek on it. So yeah, a lot of special memories of the event for that reason. Did you get one of these programs?
Yes, I think.
Yeah, probably tucked away somewhere.
Here. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, and I mean, and the next year when I actually went, I mean, it's amazing, isn't it?
Oh, the actual.
Do you remember?
I went in 2022 as well.
You did it. I think I
did it just
after our Revelation of the Daleks.
I just off the bat, just off the cuff, just thought I might as well do this. I might as well stay an extra day and do it.
Yeah,
and it was a good job I did actually, because it was meant to be going on until September or something. I think in the end it ended up being brought forward to July.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have had another chance to go after that. So it was a really good job I did, and yeah, I mean it's an immersive theatre thing, isn't it? But you really do feel properly immersed in all of those different worlds you go into.
And what's so fantastic is you get your own little memories and moments. I think no one's memory of Time Fracture is ever going to be the same as someone else.
Isn't it?
Not and not even just because of that, because of just things that happen that you can't predict, like Brian the Ood, when we were sat there having our cocktails, just nudging the both of us and going, "Excuse me," and then running off and shooting someone. It's like there's little things like that. Seeing Davros as well. I didn't know that was like a secret route that some people didn't get to see. I was there going, "Oh,
likewise."
My God. Yeah. Did you see Davros as well?
I did see Davros. I was very pleased. I think I'd even lodged in my head someone, maybe it was you or Pete or someone, had told me
how to get there.
I read it online, so I was like,
yeah.
I'm so glad I've actually managed to make this work.
Because it's a small group they took to see Davros. And I believe it's technically Witcher's familiar Davros, because I think he had his eyes open.
Yeah, so I think the set was based on
the Magician's Apprentice
room as well. I think so.
And he had the performer obviously to see where he was going. Had eyes put into the mask. And the end, I remember just welling up and I had tears in my eyes, because it's this really beautiful moment where all the doctors save Gallifrey again, or it's a while ago, so I can barely remember. But I just
it
remember
sounds about right.
you were hearing all the doctors, and they were saying like,
Yes.
"This is your moment, this is your time," and I was I was a 7-year-old again, and I was just elated, and it was beautiful, a beautiful event. A real shame that it had to close early. Who knows whether it will come back? I don't think it would now, because it's kind of
I think
of that era.
It's probably had its time,
Yeah.
But I hope we get stuff like that again at some point. I mean, we've got event-wise coming up. We've got the proms coming up, haven't we? We've got this this waxwork at Madame Sword, so of Shooty. So hopefully there'll be more stuff and immersive stuff, or things you can go and actually see and interact with.
And it
It's
feels
always
like they're trying at the
takes
very
you
least
right back, doesn't it?
to do that. Yeah, I mean, I know Russell spoke about the Doctor Who experience on the podcast recently and said how that place lost money. So I'm assuming Time Fracture probably would have been a similar case because of how many times it had to close. It's probably why it closed early, because it just was financially not viable to do. So we've just got to hope that the money's there to be able to do these things, and who knows, one day it might all come back. But that was a very, very special memory, and a very special time.
Very, very nice.
So I might do a video about that one day, because at the time it was a kind of a case of like, don't talk about it. Exactly. But because it's been gone now, I think it's it's just one of those things that's a lovely memory. So
one of the lucky few to
to
see it in that state.
In that state of disrepair. It was kind of amazing, and to get all these insights and things like that. Fantastic. But yes, 2021.
2021, I have gone for the first in a line of publications that started that year.
Oh,
Doctor Who magazine.
Okay.
So without further ado, if I can get the item this time.
Fantastic. Lovely.
Smith, wasn't it? The first issue of the Doctor Who Chronicles, 1965. So I remember getting this in W.H. Smith's back in the days when they would actually come out on time in W.H. Smith's.
I think I remember you getting this as well, actually.
Yeah, and it was just a really nice, it was a new line starting off, like I say, a new range of bookazines. It had the Essential Doctor Who's and that reprint of the Dalek comic strips in 2020, which I still actually haven't read. I've got a copy over there, but I haven't read it yet. Yeah. But there's been about 7 or 8 of these now, I think. And every single time, I've got all of them, and every single time, once you get into it, I mean, you can't put them down. They're so great to immerse yourself into that era. What's going on Doctor Who, in the wider world, whatever, on television at that time. Just looking at everything and these brilliant little story guides you get. I mean, Crusade there, for instance.
Gorgeous layout.
Actors and interviews and bits and pieces and bits on different parts of production and events and things that were going on. Something to do with Dalek movies and whatever. Just for instance, and it's a lovely cross section as well. I love the way these are done, because it's not a season that's being looked at, it's a year that's being looked at.
So there's like crossover from season 2 to 3.
Yeah, exactly, in this one. So sometimes, I mean, it's just one season that's being covered, but other times you get that kind of cross-section. Really, really nice. I mean, Paul Kirkley always does a fantastic little essay to begin with, just kind of looking at that kind of year and kind of giving an overview, and they always finish with...
Is it a section on what's going on at the time? Or
there's also, and current affairs and what was on TV. They always finish with a little ratings graph. We love our diagrams and graphs.
We love viewing figures.
But that's usually the first thing I turn to. I kind of turn to that and then kind of work my way back to it as I work through. But yeah, really, really nice. I think actually, I mean, this isn't my favourite issue that was released, but I want to give a shout out to the range as a whole. Yeah. I think the 2007 issue is
amazing, isn't it? I could have picked... Did that come out 2021 as well?
I think it must have been 22.
22. I could have picked that easily for an item of mine, because... It's such a good... That's the only one I've got, but it's amazing.
The only new series one I think they've done so far. Yeah. And whereas with some of these, because I wasn't around at the time, it takes you a bit more effort to try and get into them and immerse yourself in them. With that, it was just like, I have an instant connection here. And seeing all that stuff, the merchandise in particular, the figures... all this and everything that was going on in terms of events and things being released, and it was just fantastic.
Financially, it was very bad for me, because it meant that I then bought like a new 10th Doctor and Jadoon figure. So
it's the way.
It's. I mean, they're gorgeous. Those.
I love it, and
I think I would only get them if it's a year like 2007, which I remember. But they're always so beautifully done, and whenever I'm in a WH Smith's, I'll always have a flick through and just have a look, because they're gorgeous. And yeah, that 2007 one is just so good. So who knows? Maybe these are being written because it's by people who were actually around at that time. They've got a bit more insight. So maybe as time goes on, some people who were alive in 2010 will want to. I'm not saying that people, these people weren't alive then as well, obviously.
Sure, yeah.
But who knows? We might get a bit more of that insight of down in the trenches when.
Oh, I mean,
kids are
I
in
really
school.
hope so. I think, and going forward with the magazine as well. I mean, hopefully there'll come a time when people of our generation are doing this sort of stuff, and like the people that got those Doctor Adventures magazines and free gifts and all those things, and literally were there on the ground, like you say.
Wouldn't it be great to write an
our
article
time will
about the Doctor Who Adventures magazines and things like that?
love
Yeah.
it.
Let us know, Doctor Who magazine. We'll do We'll go.
Jason, go.
Yeah, come on, Jason. Yeah. Let us know.
Yeah.
Brill. What a great one for 2020.
Yeah, great little range.
Fab.
So 22.
22.
Yeah,
the year that I graduated, the year that I did a dissertation on the Graham Williams era. I only bring it up every other day. So yeah, what did I choose? What did I choose? Oh, I choose that. Yeah. Originally I was going to choose the Time Fracture brochure because I got it. I went then, but I did actually get that in 2021. It was released then, so that works out well. So instead, I went to my second choice, which has quite a lot of memories attached to it anyway, because there was a re-release around 2022. I can't remember why,
indeed.
but there was.
I think because they'd done remasters and they thought it's the year before the anniversary, the show anniversary,
so they were like, let's
we'll try
kick it off.
Yeah, we'll try and kind of latch onto that. But yeah,
we are of course talking about Doctor Who and the Daleks, or in this case, the
second
Daleks
one,
Invasion Earth. I could have picked either. I picked this one because this one was actually a gift. I bought Doctor Who and the Daleks myself, but this was my graduation gift that my parents got me, because they were like, "Is there anything you're after?" And I was like, "This, please, thank you very much."
Oh yes.
So they did steel books of Doctor Who and the Daleks and Daleks Invasion Earth. I think they released one and then a few months later released this one.
I think so, yes. Yeah.
You got the big boxes, didn't you?
Go on then.
Oh, have you only got the Doctor and the Daleks one?
I only got this in the end, yeah. I got this at the BFI.
Oh, yes, because you went
It
to
was
see them.
a rare occasion where the BFI actually had the thing that was being shown in the shop already, because usually for the collection sets you have to wait until they've been released like a few weeks or months later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got this.
I have to admit, they look lovely.
It's very nice.
It's a gorgeous
yeah,
collector's
and you get all
piece.
sorts of paraphernalia and stuff inside, and a little coin and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
But I never got round to getting the other one, but I might do at some point.
But I do think so. Around that time as well, obviously they did a cinema re-release run. We went to see it in our local cinema.
Yes.
Which was amazing. It was
Yes.
so cool seeing them on the big screen for the first time.
And shout out as well to Sam, who was apparently there as well, who we've since learnt.
There we go. But I think I purposely didn't watch them for ages so that we could watch them afresh on the big screen. And
yes, of course.
yeah, it was a great summer. It was just a fantastic summer of seeing those again, enjoying them for what they were, and realising, having grown up, enjoying this one more.
Yeah.
Realising that I think I prefer Doctor Who and the Daleks.
Yeah. I think so.
I think we kind of we reviewed them, didn't we? And we
did, didn't we?
Around that time.
Go and check those out. Yeah, those videos.
We did a Doctor Who and the Daleks on your channel, and we did Daleks Invasion Earth on mine. So
a little bit of cross promotion.
It
was a really great time because I imagine you were probably more familiar with them than me up to that point. I think I'd seen on DVD the first film, but not the second. Then when I realised this was happening, I was like, I'll make sure I watch the second film for the first time on the big screen. So I did that. And
I forgot that you'd never seen it before.
No, I'd never seen it. No,
of course.
I saw it at the BFI for the first time, and then we saw them ourselves afterwards.
Yeah, so
more locally, and yeah, it was just great. I remember from that time. Yeah, it was. They had a proper moment in the limelight. Those films that summer, and the music was stuck in my head for ages as well.
Yeah. I remember setting up for the reviews, and we had the music on in the background as we were setting up. So
and such gorgeous restorations as well.
Oh, beautiful
on the big screen.
Yeah.
They just looked.
They looked stunning.
So gorgeous,
so beautiful, and all the various paraphernalia around them, like you say, it was just it was fantastic. It was a real summer of the Daleks, wasn't it?
It was.
It kind
absolutely.
of felt. It felt like you were back in the
moment.
60s.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So big shout out to that, and of course these lovely steel books as well. So I went for these because I thought they'd fit in.
They are very nice. Yeah.
With the other line, gorgeous stuff. Absolutely lovely, great time. And great to be immersed in Dalek mania, really, back in 2022. You, sir, 2022.
Well, for 2022, I have gone for a sheet of paper.
This is
I've gone for a sheet of paper, but it's an important piece of paper.
It's very
you can probably
important
see a little
piece
bit
of
from the back. So this was the first year, like I was saying, I mean, we were going to events and stuff quite a bit by this point, but it was when both of us, I suppose, really properly started going to things like the BFI screenings. We had our first BFI in March of that year, Revelation of the Daleks. It was the same trip that I then kind of did Time Fracture at the end of afterwards as well. But that was the main event, very much so, and I loved it. I've loved going to these BFI events since then as well. They've become a real staple of my sort of
fandom.
Yeah, my social aspect of my fandom, I suppose. And the people we've met, shout out to Pete and Josh.
Well, Pete and Josh, I think I don't even know if I've met Pete in passing before, but we properly met Pete and lovely Josh, and we've been friends ever since as well.
Back when they had good prizes and
so we didn't win anything that year, but they had Eagle Moss figures. They had all sorts.
Big Finish, I think. All sorts. Yeah, it's great.
We have won since.
We have won since. I think I've been on 2 winning teams in my time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I won in the year that Simon Gurrier
yes, exactly, that's the one.
Jumped in the back of our photo.
And then at Riverside we won as well. You had to go earlier, I think, didn't you? But you were technically on the team, so we won. Yeah, we won.
I'd like to think it was a very good, strong first half of the game, and then I had to leave. But
But no, the item I'm talking about, for anyone that's wondering, then is these little sheets the BFI do. I think for all of their screenings, actually, I think you can find some of them online. But they print out these sort of notes. I'm not actually sure where they come from. I think maybe
who writes them?
I think maybe they kind of copy them actually from websites and stuff. It's not actually that kind of unique, but nevertheless, they're lovely souvenirs.
Was this the last one as well? Because I remember coming to that screening and there was only one sheet left, and I was like, "Gone."
Yeah, I'd forgotten that
because they were like in a side thing or something.
Yeah, you grab one as you go in, and
they'd all gone.
Yeah, people. I mean, do different things with them. So people like me, I mean, take them and stick them into a folder straight away and keep them lovely and pristine and safe. Some people like scrumple them and put them in the pockets or in the bin or fold them up and are like, no. But it's such a nice little souvenir.
It's a great memento, of the event, as well as
the postcards as well. Yeah, which they usually always do for the collection box set screenings. They haven't been doing them for the animation ones lately. I'm not sure why. So get on that.
Did they do one for the Doctor and the Daleks?
They did, yes. Yeah. They did. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was really nice.
That was nice. I wasn't there for that one, but...
Yes. But yeah, I mean, such lovely memories of that first trip and the social side of it and everything and meeting people and interacting with people who, like kind of more professional fans, for want of a better word.
And writers.
Way of putting it, and writers and stuff.
Sorts.
And I guess actually now that it's out there as well, go figure, which you should all go and support. I guess I can say that kind of came about as part of as a result of the BFI screenings as well, and meeting people there, like Chris Hill and Gary Russell and Gareth Kavanagh. So
look at him talking about these names. Is this name drop? Clang, Gary Russell,
So that's kind of
it's amazing.
Literally, things have come out of it as a result. And so it's great, and it's really really satisfying.
They're so special.
I love going to them. Hopefully, this year we've got more to come. I think it's tricky to get tickets. They can be quite difficult to get hold of, especially if you're not a member. And also, I mean, some people kind of always say that because they're London based, I mean, I can understand as well why people can't always get to them, but I think it is a nice sort of, obviously not literally centre of the UK, but a nice kind of central location in terms of people getting there. So it's one of those things, but if you can make it, definitely do. They're really great fun, and the social side of it is kind of the main event rather than the actual screening, which is great too, but it's weird.
It's like you're sat there like, just get through the screening and then we can actually go to the bar and have a chat.
Yes, exactly, and find out all sorts of secrets.
But that's the thing. I mean, if you're more local, it's obviously harder for people like us who are more north based.
Yes.
But like if you are local, then you don't even need to come to the screening. You can just
pop along to the bar.
Pop along to the bar and buy an overpriced pint and just enjoy.
I will lend you my membership card.
Yes,
you get 10% off, which
you're going to regret saying.
Doesn't take a lot off, but it takes off like
£10
the extra fee or whatever.
So they're just so special. Was Time Meddler that year as well? I think it was.
What are we, 2022?
Yeah.
Yes, it would have been, wouldn't it?
It would have
Yeah,
been the
Time
more
Meddler
later end of the year.
Abominable Snowman, which I went to.
Yeah.
The Dalek movies,
Dalek
obviously.
movies, yeah.
And
Yeah.
just content. Yeah, Sea Devils.
This
what
Sea
else
Devils
have we
one
had?
is kind of the one that everything happened at, and I wasn't there.
Everything happened.
Five Doctors, was that 2023?
Five Doctors, yes. And was there another animation one?
Underwater Menace, maybe?
Oh yeah, I didn't go to that. Okay, forget about that. Yeah, but yeah, been to all the collection ones, and it's just great fun. And
Yes.
long may they continue.
Long may they continue. Yeah, they were just so lovely, a great experience for fans, and so positive and lovely. So yes, I can't wait for the next one, whenever that is, and to buy another overpriced pint.
Yes.
Yeah. What a lovely one. I kind of wish I picked one as well, but I'm glad that you picked that so that we can talk about that. When's the anniversary year? 60 years.
Yeah.
We're
there. We're at the original destination. For this project. So.
So yeah.
Destination 2023.
Destination 2023. It was tricky to pick one in this year. Obviously, I wanted to pick one that was kind of based around the anniversary rather than anything else. I was originally going to go for one that I think you might have chosen.
Sure.
And I couldn't actually choose it because I've left mine in, back at home. So what I decided to go for was a special issue of the SFX magazine.
Oh yes.
The anniversary kind of issue they did. They did a big pack of like posters and things. It was the kind of the first one they did with art cards and
stuff. I mean, since then we've had about 3 or 4 more, haven't we? It's crazy.
But the reason why I've gone for this is because I remember tracking this down like I was, 10 or 11 and opening it up, having all these interviews, and just I remember the excitement I felt for the anniversary reading this. Because it was so special. It was so special, and this just kind of encapsulates that amazing time when we had Tennant back, when we had Tate back, when there was these phenomenal stories. I absolutely love them. Even the Star Beast, which I was a little bit down on at that time. I adore them.
I think honestly, if you asked me on a different day of the week,
any of them
would be my favourite of the 3 because I just feel exactly.
Well, Wildly Yonder is always going to be. I agree that there's always elements, isn't there?
They always had and they were so different, and they each had their own kind of great parts to them. It was.
It was just such a special time. It kind of really lived up to everything that I was there. He is. There's a man behind it all.
Yes.
Probably saying that it's the most exciting thing you've ever seen, and it was the most exciting thing. And I remember Star Beast going out. What a week it had been beforehand. Adventure in Space and Time on BBC Two.
So much.
Shooty,
the month of November as a whole. I mean, my God, you
it kind of lived up
the
to
iPlayer thing dropping, didn't you, on the 1st of the month?
Yeah.
The colorized Daleks and all
kind of something every day, wasn't there?
Oh yeah, literally there was. Yeah, it was an incredible time.
And I remember going to see the Adventure in Space and Time screening.
Yes.
Would it have been the Sunday, the day after?
It was, wasn't it? Yeah, it was.
Doing our first round table with Pete and Josh, and everyone who was
Special
there.
Guests,
go and listen to that. It's fab. I think we have people including people putting stuff in the bin beside us as we're recording. It's fab. It's so fun.
Easter eggs and
the mic went out halfway through it. It was fantastic. But it was so exciting.
It was great fun, wasn't it? Yeah.
And there was a real buzz. Even though we were there to watch Adventure in Space and Time, there was real buzz around the fact that this is happening. We're here in the anniversary. It was so lovely, gorgeous. I've got distinct memories of watching every single special, right down to the giggle, being the first one I watched on my brand new telly in my new flat. It was just brilliant. It was a fantastic time. And I'm so glad that it lived up to the kind of the hype in my head, because the 50th was such a thing to live up to, and if anything, this has kind of surpassed it for me. It was just lovely, gorgeous time, and that magazine kind of sums up the childish glee that I got in the run up to it, and in the subsequent years. It's a gorgeous cover as well. It's got Beat the Me,
very nice.
Wrath Warrior, and Tennant.
It is nice covers, don't they?
Beautiful. I think they're better
Yeah,
so
there we go.
that's my pick for the anniversary year.
Wonderful.
But I think I know what you've chosen.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've kind of gone with an obvious choice, but
Yeah.
if I can find it
An
now,
obvious for a reason, though, right?
the Sonic, yeah, you know. I mean, I could have gone with some other things. There was the Doctor Who magazine, whatever it was called, 60 Moments special thing.
Yeah.
Which,
I still see. I saw that in the shop the other
it's
day.
still knocking
Don't know how
around.
it's
Yeah,
still
it's,
around,
I
Probably because it's 15 quid or whatever.
yeah, exactly. I got hold of that in very special circumstances, so that always will hold a special place
That
in my heart.
sounds. Yeah, that's. Okay. Let's move.
It's not what you think.
No.
Yeah, so there was that, and the B&M stuff happening that year as well. I mean, it wasn't the most exciting year, but there were sets like, you know, your Five Doctors, Richard Turndall and Dalek sets.
Was that 2023?
It was, yeah. Again, Miriam Margolyes making an appearance in the Deadly Assassin set.
Again,
with,
yes.
Yeah, with you know, Chancellor Goth and
some
Bruce
bloke.
or whatever. Yeah.
Some bloke.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, gone with the Sonic.
Yes.
The first edition, the limited edition. I think in terms of a piece of merchandise that sums up that year, this is it. Demand was incredibly high. I was abroad when this was announced, and so I came home to it a bit after everyone else had got hold of them. But yeah, a wonderful piece of merchandise.
I mean, I'd not bought a Sonic since
Oh, really?
since
Yeah.
Smith. You
Okay.
bought. I remember you bought me Jodie's,
Jodie's,
when that
yes.
came out.
Yes.
But I'd not got a Sonic myself since Matt Smith's.
And you might not get something again for a good...
And I might
A good while,
Well,
yeah.
certainly not the next one.
No.
But I remember getting it, and it was only when I got it in hand. I came home after a few weeks to find the package there, and I just got this real excitement. I was like, "Oh my god, it's a Sonic screwdriver!"
It's very
now.
nice, isn't it? Yeah.
And it's so gorgeous. It's got so many features. It's got about 10 colours.
Yes.
It's and at the time I think I went for the limited edition one because I was like, well, I'm going to kick myself if I don't get it.
Sure.
But obviously, the standard release is actually more accurate because of the matte finish.
Of course, yes.
But
Yes.
the more I look at the chrome one, the more I'm like, it's just beautiful.
No, I need to get hold of the standard one just for completist reasons. I also at some point need to get hold of the gold chrome one as well.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure.
I mean, each to their
why
own.
that exists, but
Yeah.
it exists.
It does.
So there we are.
Yeah.
And I think these actually came back in stock recently on
did.
character.
Same time as
I don't know
Future
whether they're
Doctor, was it?
still-
Or
It might, yeah, sometime recently. I don't know whether they're still there or not. But I mean, because there are loads of bootlegs on eBay as well, so watch out.
yeah.
But yeah, lovely. It's not my favourite Sonic ever, but it's a piece of merchandise that really summarises that year, and everybody wanted one. You know,
Yeah.
it was so in demand.
high demand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there we are.
I mean, perfect choice. Great year. Yeah, there's just so much to love about that time. Can't believe we made it to the end. We made it.
we made it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do we want to touch on 2024?
Let's. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
if we got something to talk about. Obviously, the year is still going. But
Yes.
there's already been
Yeah.
various bits and pieces released.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's funny because
do it.
I haven't actually got that much this year, like especially that's been released. I mean, I've got the odd Big Finish set, the odd SFX magazine, Doctor Who magazine, and that sort of stuff.
Yes.
But I'm going to pick something that I got given recently, but that was released this year, definitely.
Interesting.
I think at the start of the year, the 60th anniversary Target books. They're bloody gorgeous, for one thing. I love the blue spines. I think that's such a nice way to make them stand out on the shelf. But yes, as I was just gushing about them before, they're so special to me. I was going to get one, and then Izzy bought me all three, which was really lovely. So I'm making my way through the Star Beast. I'm currently over halfway
very
through. It's a
nice.
very
Yes.
short one, the Star Beast. You can whip through it.
Yes.
And usually I'm not as much of a fan of the ones that are just a straight retelling, but I think Gary does a great job of getting in the heads of people like Sylvia and adding the Milkman from
The
Stolen
Milkman from
Earth.
Stolen Earth. Yeah.
Fudge and Sharon gets
Of course,
an
yes.
appearance as well,
Yes.
of sorts. So yeah, I'm just loving it. And also, Gary actually adds these before each chapter, there's always like a little
they're brilliant, aren't they? The
little
kind of
email
field
or
reports or whatever.
Yeah, what I loved was the one I read this morning was like a thing from the Shadow Proclamation about the creation of the Wrath Warriors and how they've got the sort of head structure of a Tritivore and the eyes of a Yvodney. And
lovely little reference.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's great stuff. Loads of little references in there. I can't wait to read the other ones. Wild Blue Yonder by Mark Morris and The Giggle by James Goss as well, which was kind of the one I was drawn to the most. As soon as you said there's like puzzles and things
funky
in it,
stuff going on the page and
I'm like,
everything,
that's my kind of thing. So I'm looking forward to that. But they're beautiful books. They're also the last ones that I found out only like today when I flicked to the back that Anthony Dry, who's been doing the covers for all the new series books, it's the last ones he's doing. So yeah, end of an era in some ways.
Indeed.
But a gorgeous era, and I'm loving it. It's a fantastic way to relive that beautiful time.
Well, you know what? I was going to say the same thing, actually. I was going to go pipe for all three of them, kind of cheat slightly. But,
well, I'm almost choosing all three.
Well, there we go, yeah. I mean, I read all of them this year. I mean, they were released, I think, early in January.
Was it January?
I think, yeah. You could read the ebooks or whatever beforehand the week or the few days after
kind
the
of unprecedented how quick.
It was crazy, wasn't it? Yeah.
Back in the day when it was the 5 Doctors released accidentally beforehand,
yes,
but it's that kind of thing. It's like instantly
it's
they're
great.
on the shelves.
And what was nice, I think, for me, I got them all and I went my way through them as you are doing now, and it was nice to have had a bit of a distance from the specials and to kind of not reappraise them because I like them to begin with, but like to appreciate them anew on train journeys or whatever, and reading them on trips down to London or whatever, and it just, you feel like you're in the story, like you're reading the Star Beast and then like you're walking around Camden Market or whatever, or listening to the soundtrack, and that real immersive experience.
I might try that actually. I might try listening to the soundtrack as I'm listening to it.
It works. It's
I think the reason why,
exciting.
I say, I'm not usually a fan of the straight retellings, but I think that's because sometimes I'm reading a story which I wasn't so fond of on telly, and I'm expecting to like it more in novelised form, even though it's just... Yeah. Whereas I love these stories so much, I think all it's doing is just, if anything, it's making me relive a story that I love, and it's adding little things in there. There's a few lines that were cut. There's the scene with the sonic screwdriver in the Star Beast about, when the initial first scene. Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's why I'm loving these.
No, really, really good stuff. Yeah. I mean, they're all very strong. I think I would say Wild Blue Yonder is the one I got the most from. I think that kind of just worked really well in prose, almost. And it wasn't necessarily that there was anything new added in there, but just the way it was told by Mark Morris and the way things are described.
I think Mark Morris is a horror writer as well, so he kind of has that.
Figures, doesn't it? Yeah. It worked really nicely. And then, like say, with The Giggle, you have all this stuff going on, James Goss, having a lot of fun with the way things are laid out.
Yeah, and I think Gary was a good choice for the Star Beast as well, because he was obviously script editor in... Was he script editor for Series 4?
Well, the 2009 specials, I think.
Right, but of that era.
And of course, done on Sarah Jane, I think, before that, and Torchwood.
So he's part of that era, and he's got this classic kind of... influences as well, so it kind of feels that's the right one for him to write. Give it to sign it for me. Just they're so lovely, aren't they? They're just so gorgeous, and I really hope that
beautiful
they keep
pieces
up with these beautiful targets.
Interesting to see, won't they? Yeah, we've got 3 more on the way. They haven't been officially announced, but there are like Amazon listings or whatever. So we've got Space Babies, 73 Yards, which is going to be really exciting, and Rogue as well.
73 Yards is my top of my list.
So it'll be interesting to see, like you say, who does the covers for those, and whether they kind of continue a similar sort of style, or whether they go down maybe more down the route of the photographic covers, like for the Church on Ruby Road hardback, which I'm not sure how to feel about that, but I can kind of see them doing it.
But as long as the spines are the same, I've got no problem. Just make sure the spines look like a Target book, and they'll be okay. That's fine. Yeah. I just noticed Gary's name. It's the TV movie. No, there we go. No.
Yes.
I was like, I didn't remember it writing
it's not that one that's not out yet. It's
So you never know. You never know. In this room, you never know.
Let's have a look around.
Yeah.
So there we go. What a fantastic little experience and project this has been. Going through the years of Doctor Who merchandise. I hope you have all enjoyed playing along at home, I mean, do let us know all of the items that you would have picked for these years, for the years that you've been a fan, your memories of living through these years, or whatever, you know, the years that you're around for as a fan. I hope you've enjoyed the whole series. Comment below. Please leave a like, subscribe to both of us, stay tuned for more stuff. But until then, thanks for watching, and
go on, you want to.
Goodbye.
Lovely. Oh yeah, you can make a screen there. Subscribe.
Yeah.